guys. So I'm going to be going over Lab 5 right here, which is your Respiratory Lab. If you want to pull it up and follow along, I'm going to go over all these models right here. So you have your nostril or nares, which is this opening right here into your nose. You also have your hard palate and your soft palate. So your hard palate is this bone right here. And then whenever this becomes in a more softer tissue, it becomes a soft palate. And down here at the base is going to be your uvula. If you open your mouth and you can see that little thing hanging down, that's what your uvula is. Couple other things, you have your concha, which are these little kind of shelves or like shell parts within the nasal cavity right here, which is your inside your nose. So this would be your nasal cavity, and then this is your oral cavity down here in your mouth. Your tongue fills up a lot of the oral cavity right here. Then you have your pharynx. So it goes from about here down to here, and you have a couple regions of your pharynx. So from here to here is what we call the nasopharynx. If you think nasal, so nasopharynx. Right here, from here to here is your oropharynx. Think oro is referring to your oral region, your mouth. And then from here to here is your laryngeal pharynx. So think your larynx is this region right here. So those are 3 regions of your pharynx. You also have your vocal folds. So you can see right down here, this right here is your vocal fold, the lower one. Your glottis is your vocal fold plus this opening right here in your trachea. So this by itself is your vocal fold, and then this plus the opening here is your glottis. You also have your epiglottis, which is this little cartilage right here, and this is what's going to fold over whenever you swallow to keep food from going down into your trachea. A couple other things, you have your hyoid bone. You can see that, this little bone right here. You'll see it on other structures as well. If you want to look on this is your hyoid bone right here. Also on here, you have your cricoid cartilage and your thyroid cartilage. So this right here is your thyroid cartilage. Again, on this model, you can see it right here, this main front part. And then your cricoid cartilage is going to be here and here. Think of it kind of wrapping around. And referring to this model again, you can see it right here. Sorry, right here. All right. 2 more things on here. You have your esophagus and trachea. Remember, your trachea is right here. It's always anterior to your esophagus, which is right back here behind it. So you can see your trachea right here coming down. This is going to go all the way down your throat. All of these blue lines right here are your cartilage rings. You can see them pretty well down here. Also, I'm going to bring this structure up again. These are your cartilage rings right here. They kind of hold the trachea open. They act as a support system, pretty much. You have your lobes of your lung. So remember, your right lung always has 3 lobes, and your left lung only has 2 lobes. So if you can see right here, you have your 3 lobes, the 2 lobes here. The reason your left lung only has 2 lobes is because your heart is here and it's taking up the space that would usually be another lobe, because your heart just sits right here. So this little region right here is kind of like a socket. This is what we call the cardiac notch. Your esophagus, you can see that right here coming down, and that is what's going to go into your stomach right here. We'll review that here in a little bit. You also have your pulmonary arteries and veins. So remember, with the arteries and veins in the lungs, the colors are going to be backwards. So your red are actually going to be your veins, and your blue are going to be your arteries, because of the oxygenation happening within the lungs. Your visceral and parietal pleura, if you remember your little tangerine model, your visceral pleura was that covering actually on the fruit, and your parietal pleura is actually like that white layer inside the peeling. So remember the difference between the 2. And in between them is what we call the parietal space, and that is filled with fluid to help with friction when the lungs expand. What else do we have? Bronchi and bronchioles. So you have your trachea coming down here, and you have this first split right here. So this first split are your bronchi. And as these continue to branch out into here, we get your bronchioles, which are the further branches off of the bronchi. We also have your alveoli and your alveolar sac. So I'm going to draw that on the board here. Your alveoli are the individual little circles, and then a bunch together is what forms the alveolar sac, and that kind of connects to the bronchi here. So alveoli and alveolar sac. Your thyroid cartilage is this right here. Your laryngeal prominence, you can see this little tip right here. This is what your Adam's apple is basically. So if you feel that on your throat, that is your laryngeal prominence. You have your epiglottis cartilage, which is this right here. Remember, that's what closes to keep food from going down your trachea. Cricoid cartilage is right here below the thyroid cartilage. Your cartilaginous rings are here supporting the trachea, and then your hyoid bone is this top right here. And that covers all the models for lab number 5. Thanks, guys.